Welcome to today's installment, and we're looking at Muricidae and some related families. Give you an idea of the size of the shells, the draw is 60 centimeters by 60 centimeters. So many of those larger Murex pectins are certainly in excess of 15 centimeters. And there's some alabasters, the one with the operculums from the Philippines, the other two are locally trawled from the Muricidae. Big variety of shells here from all over the world. It's another nice little local one that we get. Coraliophilidae. And a few interesting looking things there that are perhaps the same, perhaps different species. And some very large horstolums there from Muricidae. The largest one there being just on 15 centimeters. A lovely little Ramosis orange shell. And another wide range of different species from all over the world. I'll just show that one. That is just shy of 7 centimeters, which I believe is very large for that species. Lovely range of shells in there. Some beautiful ones there from all over. A number of New Zealand shells there. And some nice colour variations of some species. And just a few that were excess that I've laid out so you could see everything that was in this drawer. The next two trays are all Australian shells. And there were, of course, some Australian shells in the previous drawers, but they were mixed with worldwide specimens. And these are all Northern Territory. Again, I've shown you lots of Northern Territory shells in other drawers, but this particular tray is just devoted to the NT, with two of the most iconic Murex species from this area. The beautiful Bednali, that's my largest specimen at 98 millimeters. There's a few orange coloured ones. I have had bright orange specimens as well as chocolate coloured, like all dark brown, but they've been so popular with other collectors that in each case I've been tempted to make an exchange. Mind you, I got a very good deal for each of the exchanges. So I'm ever hopeful I will find some more. So hopefully on my next collecting trip for Bednali, I will indeed find some large bright orange shells and some dark chocolate shells, which I'll be able to show you in my next video. The cornea cervi, as you can notice, are quite variable, from very dark brown to lovely white specimens, and just a few ramosums there that we occasionally find over in northeast Arnhem area. And now looking at some Thaidae, and these are worldwide. So quite an interesting family. Species of which I think you can always find every time you go collecting, because many of them are very common. Some of the more colourful and impressive Thaidae, especially the droopers. Again, worldwide. From Australia to Panama to the Galapagos, throughout the Indo-Pacific. And the next draw is Coraliophilidae. Huge range of shells there. I'll have a closer look so you can see some of the smaller ones in a moment. And I'll point out a couple of interesting ones. Certainly one of my favourites, Teramachi, beautiful large specimen there. And completely covered in coral growths, but it's cleaned up very well. So I'll just have a bit of a look at some of those smaller ones, just quickly, in case you wanted to get a bit of a mixture there. I noticed there's some droopers there as well. I'll just take that one off. Alright, and I just thought I might add in some Vasidae, particularly the columbarium in this draw. Very impressive, some interesting local ones. That's always called curtsy, that's always an interesting one. Got that off a trawler, and it looked like indeed it was dead collected, but lo and behold, when I cleaned it out, the operculum was in the shell. And some lovely Muricidae. Try and get everything more into focus, that's a bit better. And a number of little Muricidae that are local, that I'm not always sure what they are. Another little one over there. Another little broken one over here. A couple that I've collected have ended up in museum collections. So I'm not quite sure if some of them have been named. But of course, trawling in such isolated places off Northern Australia, it's not surprising that the occasional new species will appear in a variety of shells there. I never know what family to put those into. So I've got a couple in here. There's the what were all once known as Flindaceae. I believe there's actually 3 different species represented in those shells since they've been re-examined and renamed. Alright, so I hope that little installment of Vasidae you found interesting.